There's this great shipwreck on the west coast of Vancouver Island out here that's got some fascinating stories with it. It's called the Valencia. It was built in Philadelphia, serves on the East Coast, went down to South America. Like most ships, it's a personality. It's got a whole story of this long life. But in many ways, I guess the real fascinating one is the end of the story. Valencia is running up this coast. She's coming out of the States into Canada, carrying passengers. It's 1906. She misses the entrance to the Straits of Juan de Fuca and crashes ashore on the west side of Vancouver Island. It's a graveyard of ships. She's sitting there in the surf. They can't get a message out. Nobody seems to know their plight. They try to send a line ashore. They can't. They try to launch lifeboats, and the boats are just being flipped end over end and chopped up with the people in them in the rocks. They manage to get a boat ashore, and they throw a line. They get these guys up. They climb up the cliff, and they turn and they run away. The story does get out, though, because a lighthouse keeper and his wife find out about the wreck. He has to stay at his post, but the wife runs through the forest, up and down ravines, tripping, falling, to get the news out, to get to his telegraph station where the word can go out, help these people. A couple tugboats come in, but they can't get close. One of them, the big, powerful tug, the Tsar, can't get close enough, and so they have to watch as the Valencia is pounded to pieces and damn near everybody aboard is killed. The story doesn't end there, though. 1933, coastal captain, Captain McFarland, is in the area. He sees something in the surf line by a sea cave. He comes on in. It's one of Valencia's lifeboats with skeletons in it. It had been sucked in to this sea cave at the time of the wreck with these dead people in it and had remained there in the backwaters, protected from the spray and the surf for, all those years.
That's incredible.
Yeah. You should have written this one. It's a great story.
Rod Serling should have written it. Eh?
Well, it was one of those Twilight Zone moments. And, what it says to me is that shipwrecks do have fascinating stories. And so many times truth is, sorry to be trite, but truth is stranger than fiction. Yeah.
I know the one I put in the book, too, which is interesting, was the Lexington. Vanderbilt's fast ship that burned and sank in Long Island Sound in 1830. And it was in the dead of January, and it was just, ice cold. And as the ship's pulling away from the dock in New York to make its run to Stonington, Connecticut, this fellow runs down the dock. And just as he gets down to where the ship is, the ship had pulled away just a few feet. And he thought about jumping, but he thought, no, maybe, with his suitcase, he thought better of it. And he was all mad because the ship sailed off without him. Well, several hours later, the Lexington burned and sank, killed 155 people. This fellow, in the morning, he's back at his New York hotel, and he asked the waiter for some pencil and paper, and he writes, he says, "Dear Father, just to let you know that your son, William Wadsworth Longfellow, is alive and well and will be on the next steamer home, and please tell the family." And it turned out that Longfellow was late because he was arguing with his editor over changes the editor wanted made in a poem he'd written called The Wreck of the Hesperus. So that's why there's always a fascinating story involved with most shipwrecks.
I love it. That's why I like going out there and finding them, because it brings the story to life.
It really does, and brings it back rather than letting it be forgotten, too.
It does.